What's up, YouTube? Hope everybody's been having a great day. I'm just gonna get right into it. This is a new YouTube channel for sports cards, and I have an Instagram where I've been showcasing the cards I pull, and it's been active for about a little over 6 months, and you guys seem to enjoy it. So we're gonna start doing YouTube breaks, and I'm gonna just open products and take you along with me. We got a really exciting one here. You guys can see right there in the bottom left, there's quite a few Topps Chrome Update blasters. We have 40, which is a full case. So we're gonna be doing a 4-part profit challenge to see if we can go green ripping this product. Topps Chrome Update has been extremely hyped. It's been a lot of fun to rip. I've had some nice pulls. I hope you guys have had some good ones too. The value boxes are 45 bucks a piece, and they are very tough to find in a lot of areas. So the number we're starting with is going to be minus whatever the retail cost of these blasters are. So $45 times 20 times 40, you guys can do the math. It'll be on the screen. And so without further ado, let's start ripping. So I'm going to grab the first one in the corner here. And again, I am very new to actually ripping stuff like this on camera. So please forgive me if this comes across as awkward, this video or the next couple. We're learning together. I do not have a knife like all the other guys do to open their boxes, so I'm just gonna be manhandling them kind of like this and just ripping them open. And hopefully we don't destroy the cards inside. But that said, let's get rocking and rolling. Once again, this is probably gonna be a somewhat amateurish production. You know, still trying to figure out how to do everything, so just making sure I got everything set here. I got penny sleeves to my left and some space to my right. Hopefully we'll have some good hits. We'll rip 10 of these boxes to start, and we'll track the profit as we go. I got a decent feel for the market, but some of my comps, I say live, might be a little bit off, but the right prices will come up as the video goes. And last thing, I think I said it earlier, I'm not going to count cards worth much less than $3 just because I'll add that in a miscellaneous total at the end of the video. I'm thinking about $10 per box, no matter what. It's pretty an average thing for what you can expect to pull no matter what. And then cards worth more than $2 we'll include in the total, and we'll go from there. So let's get started. So first pack of the channel. All right, so we got Norman Powell, Igor, it's a good rookie, and Anthony Edwards, Stratospheric Stars. And I'll put all the base cards off to the side, obviously, and anything that I think could be worth more than $1, I'll sleeve up. And this is probably worth $1, but I'm just gonna sleeve it up because I feel like it. I think Igor is a really solid player. So nothing crazy there. On to pack 2. And as I get more into this, I'll get stands and a more professional setup and all that good stuff. So we got a clutch gene coming up. And I don't know if I like these clutch genes, and I'll tell you why. These clutch genes, when you have that spread here and you peek out the card, it looks like you got a black to 10, but it's really just a somewhat common insert. So we'll sleeve it up though. I'll probably sleeve up most cards that are worth anything just because it's a good habit to get into. You never know how good some of these cards are when you check prices. So nothing crazy in the first couple packs, but on to the third one. We got red, white, and blue. Kevin Durant. Now that's definitely a good card there. Probably worth a couple bucks. I really think these red, white, and blues are going to be sneaky valuable as the market ages on these, just because I think people are going to be so obsessed with the refractors. But the refractors are actually have the highest print run of all of the parallels, I believe. So be interesting to see how the value adjusts. So another Maverick, not Cooper, and Thunder, Ulinis Dort. I probably butchered that. Well, that's a tough look when you have a couple Mavericks and they're not Cooper flag. So it's definitely a pretty, I guess you could say, nausea-inducing sight to see a Maverick as a really low number parallel on the sides, because it's basically Cooper or bust. So all right, we got a refractor, Jeremiah Fears, and the refractor is Scoot Henderson and De'Aaron Fox in the back. So again, nothing to write home about so far. What I will say is that these value boxes can definitely be pretty rough one at a time. But if you open them in bunches, they tend to produce some monster hits, at least in my experience. And I might just be getting lucky, but that's kind of what I've been noticing. So again, Magic, Dillingham, nothing crazy there. So going to our last pack, hasn't been super eventful. Hopefully we can turn that around. Ooh, we got a couple things going on here. First off, we got a backwards card. I haven't seen too many backwards cards as I've been opening this product. So we got Mavs Dirk. What's the team? Rockets. I guess we want Durant here. All right, Amen Thompson. Not too bad. And on the back, we had Derek Queen. So this is definitely not too bad of a player here. My NBA knowledge is a little bit limited. I know a lot more about baseball, but I'm learning. So this is probably the first card worth more than a couple bucks. So nice to be on the board with a numbered card. And Queen, I think, is a solid name that should retain value long term. So on to box 2. And I will say, it's a lot different breaking cards like this than it is if you guys are coming to my Instagram channel and you know the format I've been doing. I rip a bunch of boxes and just film them afterwards. It's a lot different. You kind of got to be on the whole time here, but it's fun. You know, I think it'd be fun to take you guys on this pack opening journey. So we got Brooks Barnhizer. I've heard a lot of good things about Brooks. He's been a pretty good piece of the Thunder. Again, don't roast me too bad for not knowing all the things going on in the NBA. It's definitely not my specialty sport, but I know a decent bit. So that might be worth a couple bucks. It's a decent parallel of his. All right, refractor time. It's going to be a Celtic. Nice, Jason Tatum. Another Maverick that's not Cooper Flag. Jason Tatum, again, not a bad card to pull. Pretty reliable vet. So what do you guys think? How have you guys been liking Topps Chrome Update? I think it's been very up and down for me. I've been taking some stabs at the hobbies, and they have been very, very up and down. I've found the most success has been, honestly, from value boxes, dollar for dollar. I've noticed that these have been far more valuable ROI basis, but I might have just been getting lucky. It's hard to say. Got our first Ray waiver of the day. We got the Nets, Ben Seraph. I think he's been playing pretty well. I think he's a solid rookie. I know Drake Powell is also on that team. So we'll sleeve him up, put him in the above average pile. But yeah, I've noticed the best value has been from these blasters, at least in my experience. And we have, I think that's just an insert. Okay, we have a backwards insert. So are we going to have a fake out here, or are we going to have a numbered insert? Got a Coward. Anthony Davis refractor insert. All right, so it's not quite numbered, but it is a refractor. And something to keep in mind with the inserts on the refractors is they are roughly 10% the print run of the base inserts. So the refractor inserts will carry a lot of value, at least in theory they should. So if you get an insert that's a refractor, well, if you get an insert of a really good player, take a really close look at it and make sure it's not a refractor before you throw it away into a normal pile. For example, Cooper Flag's Moment in Time insert, I think it's like a $20 insert base, and a refractor, it's like $150, $200. So just something to keep in mind there. Take a close look at those cards because it can be tough to see the refractors right away. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. So we got a black here. Don't get too excited because it's a clutch gene. And these have been driving me up a wall. I don't know if they've been driving you guys crazy, but they have definitely been driving me crazy. All right, so a couple of cards here. VJ, I would say third, fourth best rookie in the class right now. It'd be very interesting to see with LeBron playing for the Sixers how that affects his market overall. But I've got a couple of good cards of his. I've been a pretty big buyer for VJ's stuff. I just think by association alone, LeBron should help a little bit, but who knows. So this box has definitely been a little better than the first box. On to the final pack. We got our red, white, and blue. Nets. Nolan Traore. So I don't think he's a huge rookie, but anytime you get a parallel of a rookie, always good to at least sleeve it and put it in a spot where you know where it is. So on to the next one. Box number 3. And as you know, as I film more videos on this channel, as I kind of get more into the rhythm of it, I'll get a better idea of pacing and things like that. So again, forgive the hopefully not too amateurish, but most likely somewhat amateurish vibes of this video. As we get better and figure it out, we'll have more and more fun. Okay, we got something going here. Another clutch gene. Man, these are going to drive me up a wall. I think I've said that twice already. But Igor Demon, a good rookie. I've heard his name thrown around a lot. So I think that's definitely a guy to keep sleeving up, even in a base. Another clutch gene of Dwayne Wade. Again, always good to check if these are refractors because it, in my experience, almost 10x is the value of these inserts, at least from what I've seen on the market and what I've heard. So good thing to keep in mind. All right, so another Nolan Traore. All right, the wrong Hornet. No disrespect to Lee McNeely, but when we see an RC and we see Hornets, we want to see Con Knipple. But nevertheless, I will still sleeve him up. So nothing crazy. We did get a numbered card. I think they fall one every 3 to 4 boxes, so that's typically, I think, what we can expect. Okay, another Thomas Sorber. Well, Thomas Sorber, I wish you were Cooper Flag because we would have 2 parallels then. But again, rookie parallels, definitely not the worst thing to get. No Cooper Flag sighting, no Dylan Harper sighting, no Con Knipple. But let's see if we can manifest it a little bit here. Magic, Jace Richardson. Now this is a good one. I've heard Jace is a really solid rookie, very underrated in my opinion. So we'll definitely put him in the good pile. Hopefully we get some crazy stuff starting to come down the pipe. We got a Knicks and a Pelicans. Nice. Nice. This guy's market has gone about almost 10x since he took his team to the championship. I have a glass canvas of his, and when I pulled it from the first series, I guess you could call, of NBA Topps Chrome, it was about a $120 card raw, and now it's about a $600 card raw and in a PSA 10, and I'm fingers crossed hoping that it gets a PSA 10. It is very close to 2 Gs, so that would be great. All right, another Amen Thompson parallel and an Ace Bailey, horrendously off center, unfortunately. But we will take Ace Baileys all day long. But yeah, guys, if you haven't already, drop in the comment section below. What format have you enjoyed the most? Have you been sticking to retail? Have you treaded the depths of the hobby side, the extremely expensive, dangerous hobby side? Or have you been just doing a little bit of everything? Because I'll tell you, for myself, I've been sticking mostly to retail. I think it's a pretty good value if you can get them at retail off the shelves. I've ripped about 4 hobby boxes. Biggest hit out of there has been a Dylan Harper auto, so I can't complain on that at all. However, my biggest hit, period, has been a Dylan Harper glass canvas out of these boxes. So there is good stuff to be found out of these. And as I said earlier, what I've been noting is the majority of these boxes will kind of go how they've gone. You might get a number card here, a number card there, but you're not going to get a ton back. But what you're really looking for are the monsters, and they do seem to come out of these at a reasonable clip for the price you're paying. So something to keep in mind. I do like these inserts. I believe a Cooper Flag refractor would be great in this. There is one card that I really want that I think will really hold its value long term as long as Cooper's career is good. And that's the moment in time insert True Blue refractor of his. I think that I'm not a big fan of that insert set except for that one card. That one card is wild. Okay, we got I think I might be wrong, but I believe we might have a Fanatical coming up. Yep, we have a Fanatical coming up. I am an idiot. We do not have a Fanatical coming up. We have a very nice Larry Bird. This is actually, and this is what I'm talking about. So this card, you know, in its base, you can see if you look at the refractor right there, it's a good way to check. What threw me off was the background. It looks very similar to Fanatical with the refractor background, but these inserts in a refractor variant are definitely going to carry quite a bit of value. So I'm going to do my research on that, post in the editing. It'll be very interesting to see what that comes back at. Hopefully it's something a little more than $5. So we got Bulls, Timberwolves, Yvonne Small. So nothing too crazy there. I think that Larry Bird could potentially be the most valuable card we've pulled so far. So we're going to need to pick it up if we're going to go green here. But we got a lot of cards. We need a lot of those. I need to see you, LeBron, but I need to see you in a parallel. Jaylen Brown, red, white, and blue. One of the best players in the NBA. So these will both be decent. I'd be curious to see what the long-term value of that LeBron is, given that it is going to be almost certainly his last licensed card in a Lakers uniform. Wonder if that really matters that much or not. All right, we have a Clippers refractor. Ivica Zubac. I butchered that horrendously. I apologize. So I don't think anything too crazy there. But moving right on. Hopefully we can get a Mavericks sweat going on here at some point. Got Nets, Thunder. Danny Wolf, another good rookie for the Nets. I've heard his name brought up a lot favorably, so we'll sleeve that one up just in case. See if we can hit something big here in these next few. Okay, we got a Ray Wave, Thunder, maybe an SGA, Eugenes Dort, and a Wemby. All right, so we got our first Wemby sighting, and it's pretty wild how his cards absolutely spiked after that legendary finals game. Deservedly so. So sleeve up that Wemby. Horrendously miscut, top to bottom, but we want to feel like we're pulling good cards, so we're gonna sleeve up some cards. All right, on to box number 5, and I gotta be honest, a little bit underwhelming, but that's how a lot of these have been. I think what we'll find is we're gonna get throughout this break, we'll get probably 3 or 4 huge hits, and then a lot of $5 to $10 cards. Was my prediction. That's how a lot of these have been. So we got a couple cards inserted the wrong way. So RC, so we've got Drake Powell. All right, we're hitting a lot of parallel rookies, but we're not hitting the right parallel rookies. So hopefully that changes. And if you guys have any suggestions, anything you guys would like me to add or take away from this on the very beginning, you know, just let me know. Want to make this as entertaining for you guys as I can. All right, Jalen Suggs on the refractor. Solid player. Nothing crazy, though. I'll be curious to see, as I said, how those refractors age, given the print run of them compared to other parallels. All right, we have a Clippers refractor. Chris Paul, probably be his last card. I think he's pretty much all finished, but beautiful looking card. He's a vet whose name will not be forgotten for a while, so always good to get a refractor there. But we definitely need to get something cooking. These boxes are not, even though they're the lowest price, these still aren't cheap. Because this format, this Topps update, there is no hanger boxes, so this is the lowest price. $45 to enter is essentially the requirement here. All right, we got a power players insert, Joel Embiid and Sion James. I think we are defying odds right now for seeing the big 3. We did see Khan in a insert, but I would like to see them in a parallel at some point. All right, we got an activators. That will be Jalen Brunson. The checklist is a little different. So I got a mountain of packs here I'm putting to the side. The checklist is a little weaker, I think, this time around, because obviously with the first release of 2025 Topps Chrome, they got a lot of the big names on there, but Jalen Brunson, I think, is definitely one of the best for this checklist for this release. Alrighty, on to the final pack. Shaq, this is an absolutely, in my opinion, just an absolutely baller image of Shaq. I think that in a numbered parallel is going to be just crazy. Well, we have not pulled too much yet, and we are, doing my count here, we are exactly 5 boxes down. And not much to show of it, so if you guys are still watching, I appreciate it, because it has been tough to get super excited about a bunch of $3 to $5 cards, but I promise we got a full case, so if we don't pull anything out of a full case, I'll send some kind of complaint to Topps. But I think we'll get something pretty solid at some point. Hopefully sooner rather than later. All right, Nick Claxton, nothing crazy there. See if we can get something good in this pack at some point. It's bound to happen, right? All right, we got a Pistons and 2 Pacers. All right, not much going on there either. I want to at least see a Spur or a Maverick in a parallel. This is kind of wild. Okay, we got Trailblazers. All right, another LeBron James. We'll take that. All right. And this one's, I don't know if you can see, but this one's like horrendously dinged. We'll still sleeve it up to make ourselves think we're pulling some heat. Well, I know we are definitely way behind pace here, so. All right, we got Bucks. We want, I think Giannis would be nice. Miles Turner, and then Mavs, but not Cooper Flag. All right, well, this is how she goes sometimes. See if we can pull something massive. Okay, we got a blue basketball refractor Laker. All right, you guys can see it. I don't know if you can see it here, but we got a Laker, Rui Hachimura. All right, well, it's a number card, but there were definitely a few other Lakers I had in mind, but Rui Hachimura, nice blue basketball refractor, so that's a pretty nice card there. We are getting some numbered stuff, so the dart throws aren't terrible. It's just getting those dart throws to line up is the challenge. All right, we got a Clutch City coming up. There's our guy. There we go. Not a refractor, unfortunately, but that is what we want to see. Covering up most of the card, but that is what we want to see. Probably, for better or for worse, that might be the the best card we've pulled right now. My guess, that's about a $10 card. We'll put that right there. Hopefully it brings us some luck. And again, my apologies for my camera awareness. I am very much an amateur at this, so we're still figuring that out. All right, we have a Moments in Time. Dwayne Wade. It's pretty cool. I feel like I'm not the biggest fan of these inserts, with the exception of, as I said, the Cooper Flag and maybe the that might be the only one I really like, honestly, but I'm sure a lot of people have their own favorites. Oh, we're out of packs. Wow, that happens fast. All right, well, that was definitely one of our better boxes, sadly. I don't think we've had a single box where we've really scared $45, which would be break even. As I said, these boxes are 45 bucks a pop, so I would definitely like to at least have one of these be positive for the first video. But maybe there's no better intro to this channel than getting absolutely smoked opening cards, because that is what happens about 90% of the time. All right, so we got Jazz, Walker Kessler, nothing crazy there. And as of this recording, Cooper Flag's debut patch auto, which was the chase card of the product, had been pulled got pulled about, I think, 2 hours ago, which a little unfortunate. Call Murray Boyles, there we go. I think this guy is going to be a sneaky good player long term. I have a few of his autos, and I'm very happy that I do. I think he could be a really, really sneaky long-term value play for guys looking to grab rookies at a somewhat low price. SGA, unfortunately, not a buyback. He is only a buyback in the first Topps Chrome. Hawks, Zachariah Vishasher. I know I absolutely butchered the crap out of that name, so I apologize. Well, we got a CMB refractor, but nothing crazy yet out of these packs. Okay, we got... All right, let me see if I can actually find the camera. I believe we have a either yellow or gold Timberwolf. So gold Rudy Gobert to 50. That's pretty sick. It's gotta be worth a little bit, right? I would have liked to see a Laker there, but still not terrible. Sleeve him up. As I said, there have been a significant amount of low-numbered things coming out of these boxes that I think the clip they're coming out pretty respectable for these boxes. I think they're a little bit slept on. I think everybody's all over the megas, but you know, these are definitely staying a lot longer than the megas are on shelves. So if you got, you know, 45 bucks, I wouldn't say it's the worst play if you are going to get into Topps Chrome NBA, but the reality is, rip responsibly. This product is way higher than it should be, but there are big things that come out of this. So we got, I'm not going to get tricked into thinking this is another Fanatical, but we do have, this could be, I don't know. And of course, now we get a Fanatical. That is actually a great name for this checklist. That is a sick card. Again, I was just saying how I'm a huge fan of Colin Murray Boyles. I think he's a very good long-term play. That is a beautiful card. But let me see if I can find it here. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere here. I can't find it because I'm still an amateur card opener. But this looked exactly like that other insert I pulled a box earlier. But that is a beautiful card. I don't think it's going to carry a ton of value. It's probably a $20 to $30 card, maybe. The Fanatical checklist this time around, because all the big names were grabbed in that first set, is a little weaker. So I actually think this is a pretty solid, pretty strong name in this checklist. So we will put this here because I sure hope that a Colin Murray Boyles Fanatical is worth more than a base Cooper insert, because I think he's a good player. All right, so that's a really good card to hit. Hopefully that gives us some good juju going forward. Kevin Durant, nope. Amen Thompson again. So, and I don't think that's a bad parallel. I think that's a good, solid name to pull. All right, we got 3 boxes left. I'm not going to say this is a terrible rip so far. We've definitely picked it up a little bit. The Fanatical is going to help. But I would like to see something low numbered, lower than 50. I would also love to see some ink, hopefully on card, but there are very few on card autos in this product, so not very high likelihood of pulling out of a blaster, but you never know. So we shall see. Red, white, and blue Laker. Okay, let's get a good Laker this time. All right, well, wouldn't exactly call that the top Laker, but sleeve him up just because I want to think it's valuable. Hopefully my bedside manner has been good here. This is my first time really doing something like this, so we have a lot of cards in this pack, it feels like, but we just have a really bowed middle card. It is a Laker refractor. I would like this guy to be right there. And he is. Beautiful. That is a really nice card. Centering is, unfortunately, if you guys look, pretty off-center, top to bottom, and even right to left. Looks like it's a little right to left. Wish the centering was like this one. But again, still a solid card. We'll definitely be sleeving up both. This is probably, if I had to guess, something around 10 bucks. That might be a little too optimistic, but not sure. But again, you know, I just think these value boxes are underrated because, you know, the hobby stuff, the megas are still in all the thunder, but you guys just saw Fanatical come out of here. You saw something that 150 come out of here, and you saw gold. So worth noting. All right, are we going to get our first Cooper? We are not. This guy has absolutely broken my heart. I was opening a hobby box, got absolutely shellacked, and had 2 parallels of this guy, 1 to 50 and 1 to 150, and it was a true blue. And got this guy almost in back-to-back packs as I was running out of packs after pulling a bad auto. So that was unfortunate. But this is actually a nice card. And the first thing I notice here is that almost my stack of cards almost fell over. This card is beautifully centered. Look at that. The QC on this product has been okay. It really is just varied from, I guess, case to case. Some of them have been really good, but I opened a couple boxes on release day that were rough, centering wise. All right, we got a Ray Wave. Derek Queen, that is a solid one, and that does appear to have good centering. What do you guys think? Look pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks really good. Don't see any surface issues. That when PSA opens their submissions and value in 2031, that might be a good one to submit. Maybe. Oh, but I could go on and on about that. Don't even get me started. All right, so we've got another Power Players. Again, checking to see if it's a refractor. It's not. Bam Adebayo. Mr. 80-point game. Throw that one over there. And another CMB. I would like to show you what Cooper Flagg's base card looks like at least. Or even Dylan Harper. We haven't seen Dylan Harper at all. And definitely impressed a lot of people in the NBA Finals. So be interesting to see how his name goes. And there we go. There is our first non-insert con. And centering doesn't look terrible. Devin Booker. So again, keep in mind these inserts. The checklist is going to be a little watered down because a lot of them were used up in the first series of these. But still good. And I guess my pile of cards is falling down. There we go. I think Devin Booker's a good name to pull. And another thing I'm thinking is, like, can you guys why is Khan's market down so much? I would love to know that, because I don't really remember him having a huge fall off. I just remember guys like Dylan Harper balling out in the finals, and I just don't think he really fell off. I just think he got forgotten about. That's kind of the best thing I can gather from this. Let me know if there's another reason he's fallen off besides that. But all right, we are through 8 boxes. We have 2 boxes left in this rip. And again, this will be part 1 of a 4-part profit challenge series. So stay tuned for parts 2, 3, and 4. I'm sure we are definitely quite a bit behind now, but 1 really low numbered card, 1 good auto, another good case hit. We can be right back into it. All right, Tyrese Proctor. And that's what happened. I actually have ripped a case of these already. And the case was not looking good at all until I pulled an absolute monster. In fact, give me 5 seconds. I'll grab it for you guys to show you. All right, we are back. Look at this monster. I don't know if it's focusing, but look at that thing. Unfortunately, off center top to bottom, but we were getting absolutely smoked. Bang. This card is about an $800 card, so I'll put it right here for good juju, right off the screen facing me against the filming apparatus. Hopefully that summons some good stuff. All right, refractor, Knicks. I see a ball popping out, so that's Cedric. OG newbie. I mean, I gotta be honest, I think his market is pretty darn good right now. I have not looked at it in a while. But, you know, I think we all kind of poked around in our card boxes when OG had that legendary tip in to see if we had any good parallels we forgot of his. So I think this is definitely worth sleeving up. It goes to show what a good game can do, what a big moment can do for your card stock and just everything. So pretty crazy. That's why you always save your cards. You just never know who's going to do something. All right, another refractor. Raptors. CMB? No, Brandon Ingram. All right. Not the guy we were looking for there. I mean, solid player. Got a VJ, Centering doesn't look terrible there, but I doubt I'll be sending any base cards of really anybody. Not even like with the value tiers not open. I can't even send base Coopers in. I can't make the. It just doesn't make sense. Like, what are you gonna do? Spend $100 to send in a base Cooper, and if it gets a PSA 10, you make $150 of profit. And if you don't, you lose like basically that $100. It's tough to justify. Well, whatever Ray Wave we got here is horribly off-centered. Zach Edey. Actually not too off-centered. Nothing crazy going on here, though. All right, see if we can run into something big. Got about a box and a half left. All right, I think we're gonna have a Stratospheric Stars. James Harden. I have a really sick James Harden to 5, inspirational to 5 that I think is just so cool. So hopefully I'll pull another red to 5 of you, Mr. James Harden. But just gonna keep ripping, see if we get something good in the last couple packs here. We got a Go Time, it looks like. Tyrese Maxey, that's a good name. Is it just me, or have the Go Times been a little tougher to pull from Topps Chrome Update? Because I feel like they have been. I don't know if it's a smaller checklist with a similar print run per person, or if it's just the same size checklist, but they've made the print runs of each one of them much, much tighter. All right, Lakers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, I don't know how well his value does nowadays with modern cards, but I think that's definitely a little something. All right, box number 10. I hope you, and I want to thank you guys for joining me. You know, as I said, I've wanted to do this for a while and felt like this would be the perfect set to do, because I know a lot of you guys definitely want to get in on the debut patch auto hunt and probably at least want to see some of this ripped. And again, the video I posted of my first case, the response I got was crazy. So I want to thank all you guys for watching that if you did. It's a lot of fun sharing this, because, you know, this is a hobby I'm really passionate about. And if you guys are curious about what I do for a living, I'll like drop my regular Instagram in the on the page right here if you guys want to find out more about that. But this is something I really enjoy doing on the side, and something I definitely want to share with a lot of people, because it seems like everybody's really getting into it. So let's get in on the fun. I think we have another moment in time. I know I said I wasn't a huge fan of the moment in times, but I will say they do look pretty cool. I do think Topps is trying pretty hard with these to manufacture like a sick insert, but I do think that I will say, regardless of my opinion on a lot of these, the parallels on these are going to hold crazy value, especially like the Derrick Rose, Cooper Flag. All of these really good names, they're going to hold a lot of value, because it's, you know, like it says, it's one of the highlight moments in time of their career, and it's timeless. So a number of parallels of these are going to be, I think, go for a significant premium over other numbered inserts. All right, we got another Con. That one looks really nice. Really good centering, top to bottom, it looks like. Nas Reed Kings, Russell Westbrook. Are we really going to go an entire quarter case without seeing our buddy Cooper? I guess we saw him in a Clutch City, but have not seen him on a base, or even better yet, a refractor. So that always makes the rips tough when you don't see your top guy. All right, got another red, white, and blue. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see here. That right there is a chromograph auto. So we did hit an auto here. I don't believe it's numbered, but we shall see. It's a Detroit Piston. Ron Holland. I've literally pulled, this is the second Ron Holland chromographs I've pulled from this set. So this must be printed to 1,000,000. I would love to know the print run on these chromographs. But because I've pulled a lot of these, and I've pulled like 7 or 8 chromographs so far from this set, and I have yet to, I've pulled one numbered chronograph. It was the 50, and it was on card. But this is really exciting. I do believe they have all the big names in this. It's just a humongous checklist. So we'll put Colin Murray to the side. I don't know which one's worth more, but let's put an auto front and center. Let's see if we can help that bring out Cooper and bring out something super low numbered. All right, we got a Laker refractor. See a good name. All right, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm not gonna hate on that at all. Pretty nicely centered, maybe a little OC top to bottom, but I think that will carry a little bit of value at least. And then a Derek Queen base. Another good looking card, looks pretty well centered. All right, we got 2 packs left. So far nothing crazy. Probably a few decent $15 or $20 cards. We'll see. We got a refractor, the Heat. Who do we want from the Heat? Bam Adebayo. I mean, I'll tell you what. If you drop 80 points in a game, your card should be worth a little bit, right? Okay, so we're gonna sleeve up him. Last card. Well, I thank you guys for joining me. Again, first video. Really just kind of rigging this whole thing up myself. So let me know any adjustments you guys want to see. Let me know if you guys want to see it done a little differently. I can try to adjust a little bit. And hopefully this will be the start of a really, really fun channel for a lot of people. That's certainly my hope. So we'll do the last pack here and we'll see where we're at. All right, we're going to go out with a Ray Wave from the Rockets. Maybe KD? No, Clint Capella. All right, so nothing crazy there that I know of. So quick little recap. We got, I'd say these are mostly dollar cards maybe. And we got a couple of good hits. And I will eventually get a stand. I hope you guys understand. I'm kind of throwing this all together. Got Bam Adebayo, Derek Queen. A couple good cards. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This is definitely one of the top ones. Russell Westbrook. Khan. VJ Etzko, Moment in Time. Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. A lot of good stuff. Another VJ right there. OG Anunoby, Refractor. Another Khan. Derek Queen, Ray Wave. Throw that over here. Giannis. LeBron. So some good stuff right here. Cooper Flag, Clutch City. Ace Bailey. Gold, Rudy Gobert. Colin Murray Boyles, Dwayne Wade. Another Rui to 150. Got a lot of good stuff here. I can't say it was a terrible rip. Would have liked to. I like this card a lot. That Larry Bird is sick. So some good stuff. And my guess is that the hit of the rip is going to be one of these two. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. We will be on to part 2 shortly, so look for that soon. And peace out, guys. Thanks for following.